Monday's going to be a fun day when the UTSA Roadrunners hit the field against Coastal Carolina. And joining us right now on the Buyers Barricades guest line is the athletic director for the UTSA Roadrunners, Dr. Lisa Campos. Dr. Campos, thank you for joining us today and taking the time. I know you are out in the Carolinas, are you not?
I am. I am looking out my window at a beautiful beach and ocean.
Okay, well, you don't have to make us all jealous. That's good, and very happy, and congratulations for the Roadrunners in another bowl game. And it should be an exciting one, although they could have made the time a little bit better, right? You got to get up early for this one.
We've had a few early ones this year, so I think our team's used to it. And they might prefer it because it's really hard to just sit around all day waiting for an evening game. So I guess there's pros and cons to both.
I guess so. It's not bad at all. By the way, we have that game here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on Monday morning. So keep it right here and listen to the Roadrunners take care of Coastal Carolina. Dr. Campos, I want to ask you, though, because there's been a lot of talk and a lot of confusion, quite frankly. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and maybe clarifying some of the questions that everybody has about this whole revenue share thing. I know you guys talked about it a little bit when you were breaking ground for the new race facility. By the way, congratulations for that as well. It's really kind of a weird thing, is it not? I mean, this looks like it's going to be a thing come this summer if all things go right. How do you operate and navigate the waters with this thing? Have you guys do you guys have a plan in place for that?
For sure. Well, first of all, thank you on the congratulations on the groundbreaking. That is something that we've been striving for a few years now. It was part of the plan when we built Race. And to have the other day come to fruition is just a testament to the support from the city, the county, all of our donors who've come together. Veronica Salazar on our executive team, the president's cabinet who's figured out a way to help us get that shovel in the ground. So that's a great day for UTSA athletics for sure. In regard to the rev share and the house settlement, you're right. It is very confusing. A lot of people don't really understand what all this means, right? Someone actually thought the House settlement has something to do with the House of Congress. House is actually the last name of one of the swimmers at Arizona State who started this lawsuit. So let's start there. But it's an opportunity. It still needs to be settled. I think every indication is that it will be settled. The timeline, they got till January 31st to opt into this. The class does. There's till January 31st for people to object to this. There is a swell of objections that are coming forward, so we'll see how the judge handles that. And then the final determination should happen April 7th, ironically, when we are hosting the men's Final Four championship game on that evening. So we'll know that morning, maybe before that, maybe after that. But right now it's scheduled for April 7th. And then it takes effect July 1, 2025. So what does it mean? It means now universities can share in their revenue. And it's a little bit of a complex calculation how they came up with the amount that can be shared. But essentially, they've looked at the last, I believe, 10 years of data of P5. They included the Pac-12 in this, but looked at certain categories of revenue, did an average and said 22%. Sounds like the right number to share. And everyone's projecting that will be about $20 million. I think you'll see a lot of the P4 schools get up to that $20 million rev share. I think you'll see a lot of schools like UTSA not get quite to that $20 million share. But that, and then how you share it is in several ways. You can share it through what's called Alston, which is an addition to their scholarships, which schools can currently do. There's also new roster limits in this settlement. So we've talked a lot about football, probably that it's going to go from 85 to 105. Baseball is going to be really affected. All sports are going to be affected in their roster limit. You can count any additional scholarships that you add to the program in that $20 million rev share, and then of course direct payment through NIL. The NCAA wants to figure out the market for NIL because we're all flying blind on this. So they are going to engage in a tax accounting firm that's going to help the whole, all Division I athletics figure out what the market is. and monitor, making sure that there's more of a even playing field.
I tell you what, Lisa, it's going to be tough, and I don't envy you and everybody else there at UTSA and every other university in America trying to figure this thing out. When you talk about, by the way, we're visiting with Dr. Lisa Campos, the athletic director at UTSA. When you're talking about revenue share, what revenue are they talking about? And maybe that's a knucklehead question, Lisa, but I mean, is that from ticket sales? Is that what is it from?
Yeah. So again, I believe it was about 8 categories that they used, anywhere from, like you said, from the ticket sales to bowl revenue, if anyone's making any revenue on bowl games. But really, the source, as you can see, most institutions it's going to be, we're going to have to generate more revenue. And, right now, if not all of that revenue is already being used towards operations. So, I sat in a conference the other day, and from P4 ADs to G5 ADs, everyone's talking about a reallocation of resources. They're talking about more fundraising. They're talking about more sponsorships. They're talking about increasing ticket sales. Almost everybody is looking at how do we increase revenue to share with the student athletes while also operating your department at the level you need to operate it. So you're going to see a lot of different creative ways, a lot of monetizing of different things. Again, I think there's very few institutions that just have $20 million or athletic programs that have $20 million ready to just share. So again, it's going to be a reallocation of dollars. It's going to be increasing your revenue.
Yeah, and Lisa, when you look at it, and I know you've got a lot of sports, and naturally, when we look at UTSA with the success of the football program, everybody looks at that. But there are other sports that are played at UTSA. Obviously, they say football's the front porch of this thing. So I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, that football will get the most of the allocated dollars. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I think that you see that nationally, even in obviously there's still going to be a Title IX component to that, but there's a lot of attorneys working on this and trying to figure out what that looks like right now. I think people saw Kirby Holcutt come out with that, their numbers. So you see that the majority of that will go towards football, men's and women's basketball, and then the other sports. And everyone's going to be prioritizing their sports. And, I think if you look at UTSA over the last few years, we've heavily invested in football, to your point, that there's a return on that. And it's not always financial, but it's great for the university. It's, why we went to the American. It's higher visibility. It's more branding. It's attracting students to UTSA, attracting faculty to UTSA. So football definitely has the potential to do that, and it helps all other sports.
Dr. Lisa Campos, the athletic director at UTSA, joining us here on the Blitz. Lisa, I would assume that Jeff Traylor, every other coach is going to tell you, Dr. Campos, this is what we need. Have those conversations been had?
Absolutely. We've been engaging most of our coaches. Again, we're not going to be able to, I love the saying, you can't water every part of the grass at once. So we're not going to be able to do every sport, in year one, but we've been having conversations with the coaches that we want to continue to invest in, that we know are important to the department and the university. And so those conversations are always happening. And I can tell you, part of the NCAA, the reason they're doing the market valuation is so that we're not flying blind and we have more of an idea. But right now we're just guesstimating what's going to make us competitive, and our coaches have a number in mind that we're really driving towards.
And then what about NIL? If this thing comes to fruition, do they go away, or will they still be a part of what you do?
Yeah,
the collectives, I guess, is what I mean.
Yeah. With the settlement, now we can pay NIL directly to student athletes as an institution. We've heard all the way across the board that some of the collectives are going to close shop and let the universities handle it. We have a couple of really strong, or 3 really strong collectives here in San Antonio. So it's going to take a village. It's going to take everybody. So I know that they're going to continue to work in partnership with us. But that will be dealt differently with all institutions.
You know, Lisa, it's bittersweet for me, and we talk about it on the show quite a bit. But when you're talking about, and we'll just use football as an example, college football is probably as exciting as it's been in a long time, and it's always been exciting. But I just see a cliff coming with some of this stuff because every coach that you hear from across the country is talking about we need more money. We need more money. All players care about now, a lot of them, not all of them, obviously, but is how much are you going to pay me? Do you see this as maybe a part of a solution that, but a long way to go, or how do you see this? This to me doesn't look like the final solution.
No, I agree with you. I think it's ever evolving. We still got to get through the House settlement. That's not even approved yet, right? So
Right.
it's going to forever be evolving. One of the great things, though, is that there have been more eyeballs on intercollegiate athletics than ever before, particularly football, some of the women's programs, women's basketball in particular. There are more eyeballs, and it could be because of the chaos going on. People are paying attention to it, but it continues to be a part of the university that brings everybody together, and that is not going away. We're going to figure out how to make this very fair for student athletes. They are not only getting a quality education at UTSA, but with the community support, they're going to be able to get some spending money in their pockets, and that's what it's truly about. Is you think about NIL opportunities and what it is teaching these student athletes. So unfortunately, it kind of got away from what was intended, and maybe someday it'll turn the tide and get back to what it's really for.
Well, I really hope so, and I hope you're right about that because I think it has to be. We had an opportunity at the Army-Navy game to talk with Commissioner Pernetti, and are they going to put a floor on what the schools in the American Conference are going to be able to offer?
Yeah, a lot of conversation happening right now, not just in our conference and in other conferences, that there might be a minimum investment to be in a league, and those are conversations that are continuing to happen within our league. And a ton of credit to Tim Pernetti. He's come in and has just thought and embraced what's happening, in this space, and he wants to do what will advance all of our institutions within the American Athletic Conference. So he is working very hard. He's thinking about all of this every day and really supporting our institutions.
Well, I tell you, Lisa, I really think the American Conference is a great spot for UTSA, and it's very competitive. A lot of good schools, and so I think that's where you guys belong. And it's exciting to see what the future holds for you guys. Lisa Campos, athletic director for UTSA. I'm gonna let you get back to the beach and enjoy getting ready for a college football bowl game. Really appreciate you taking some time this afternoon.
Thanks so much. I hope I didn't confuse people more. It's a complex situation right now.
No question. I think you helped tremendously. Thank you very much. Enjoy your time at the bowl game.
Thanks so much. Take care.